this quiet haven, a place where the echoes of ancient tales softly reside. As you settle in, find a comfortable position, letting the gentle weight of your body sink into the softness beneath you. Take a slow, deep breath, feeling the air fill your lungs completely. Then release it slowly, letting your shoulders drop, your jaw relax, and any lingering thoughts simply drift away. There's nothing left to do now but listen to let this story unfold gently around you, like a soft, comforting cloak. Allow your mind to gently wander if it wishes, or simply rest here with the sound of my voice. Gentle rain in background tonight, we journey not to the bustling, familiar halls of Hogwarts, nor to the well-trodden paths of its students, but to a place whispered about, a secret known only to a precious few. It is a quiet, secluded chamber, tucked away deep within the castle's forgotten corners, a place where the very air hums with a power far older than any wand, any spell, any recorded history. Here, the stone walls are smooth and cool to the touch, worn by centuries of silence, holding secrets that Hogwarts Legacy only hints at. As you quietly step inside this hidden space, the only light comes from a few flickering, enchanted candles, their flames casting long, dancing shadows across shelves laden with ancient, leather-bound tomes and curious, dust-kissed artifacts. The scent of old parchment and aged stone hangs softly in the air. In the very center of the room, a large, circular stone plinth stands, its smooth, dark surface covered in intricate, softly glowing runes. A subtle, almost imperceptible hum emanates from them, a gentle, rhythmic pulse of dormant power, waiting. This is where we begin our quiet exploration of what ancient magic truly feels like, far from the clamor of conflict, deep in the quiet heart of a world that holds so much more than meets the eye and G. This is where we begin our quiet exploration of what ancient magic truly feels like, far from the clamor of conflict, deep in the quiet heart of a world that holds so much more than meets the eye. Imagine, if you will, a chamber not often visited, tucked away behind ancient tapestries woven with forgotten symbols, or perhaps beneath the oldest, most weathered stones of a crumbling keep. This isn't a bustling classroom, nor a vibrant common room, but a sanctuary of profound silence. Here, time itself seems to slow, honoring the immense weight of knowledge and energy that lies within its walls. The air in this secluded space is remarkably still, carrying only the faint, earthy scent of ancient parchment and cool, damp stone. A single, soft light soars, perhaps a luminescent crystal humming gently from its perch on a sturdy, moss-kissed stone pedestal, casts long, dancing shadows. These shadows stretch across walls, etched with glyphs and symbols that predate even the castle's known foundations. These aren't the familiar runes of common spells, but the marks of a deeper, more primal power, the very essence of the ancient magic that quietly runs through the land itself. As your gaze gently drifts, you notice a series of age-old scrolls, carefully unfurled on a wide, low table made of polished dark wood. They aren't held down by clasps or buckles, but by a subtle, almost invisible shimmer of energy, keeping them flat and protecting their delicate surfaces. On these scrolls, intricate diagrams depict not spells or incantations, but patterns of elemental flow, whispers of life energy, and deep cosmic connections. It's a language understood not through hurried words, but through quiet feeling, a silent symphony of existence. This is the magic that doesn't roar or command, but resonates, a tranquil, quiet power, waiting patiently to be understood. This understanding, this quiet power, often lies nestled in places long forgotten, tucked away from the hurried footsteps of daily life. Imagine a hidden chamber, deep beneath the very foundations of the castle, a place that time itself seems to have overlooked. Here, the air is cool and still, carrying the faint, earthy scent of ancient stone and undisturbed dust. The only light that enters filters through tiny, almost imperceptible cracks in the ceiling high above, casting soft, elongated shafts onto the worn flagstones. Along the walls, barely visible beneath centuries of accumulated quiet, are faint, iridescent patterns. These aren't crude carvings, but luminous glyphs, etched with a magic far older than any wand lore. They don't glow fiercely, but shimmer with an internal, patient light, like distant constellations reflected in still water. Each symbol seems to breathe, expanding and contracting with a rhythm so slow it's almost imperceptible, a pulse echoing the very earth around it. In the center of this forgotten space, perhaps resting on a simple, rough-hewn pedestal, lies a singular artifact. It might be a smoothly polished stone, or a fragment of ancient wood, or even a crystalline shard that hums with a deep, silent energy. It doesn't look outwardly powerful, no ornate carvings or flashy enchantments, but radiates an immense, quiet presence. Touching it, if you were to, would not feel like a jolt, but rather a profound, grounding stillness, as if connecting to the deep roots of the world. This chamber, with its silent glyphs and patient artifact, whispers of the ancient magic not through words, but through its very being, a tranquil, quiet power waiting patiently to be understood. Its existence is a testament to what lies beyond the taught spells and known history, a serene secret patiently holding its breath. This quiet power, this ancient magic, doesn't reside in grand spell books on display or booming incantations learned in class. Instead, its presence is often felt in the deep hush of forgotten places, where the very air feels older, thicker with untold stories. Imagine a secluded chamber, perhaps beneath the familiar bustling halls of a castle, yet entirely separate, unknown to most. It's not a dungeon, nor a vault of treasures, but a space almost carved out of time itself, existing just beyond the edge of common perception. Dust motes dance lazily in stray beams of moonlight filtering through a high, narrow crack in the ceiling, illuminating worn stone and faintly shimmering patterns on the floor. These aren't glyphs or complex runes etched by hand, but natural formations, perhaps mineral veins or ancient earth lines that seem to pulse with a faint, steady rhythm when you aren't trying too hard to see them. There's no sound here save for the gentle settling of ancient rock, a soft, almost imperceptible whisper that might be the distant wind outside, or perhaps just the quiet breathing of the magic itself, a subtle hum woven into the fabric of the space. This chamber isn't guarded by curses or traps, but by simple oversight, by being utterly unremarkable to those who seek flash and fanfare. It speaks of a kind of wisdom that predates wands and incantations, a fundamental understanding of the world's inherent energies. The air is cool, yet holds a comfortable warmth, a sense of deep, unwavering peace. It is here, in such quiet solitude, where the glow of ancient magic feels most palpable, that its true nature begins to unfurl, not as a force to be wielded, but as a deep, resonant truth to be felt and understood, like a gentle, timeless heartbeat in the quiet dark. As the echo of that ancient heartbeat settles, imagine yourself now in a place where such truths might be quietly guarded. You find yourself in what feels like a forgotten wing of a vast, sprawling library, far from the bustling corridors of Hogwarts. The air here is still, carrying only the faint, sweet scent of aged parchment and dust motes dancing in slivers of moonlight. Through a tall, arched window, you can just discern the silhouettes of distant, slumbering mountains under a velvet sky, a subtle connection to the earth's own deep pulse. Soft wind chimes sound distant here. The shelves are not neatly organized, but rather seem to stretch on, filled with volumes bound in dark, unassuming leather, their titles long faded into whispers. Some are simply smooth, unadorned blocks, hinting at contents too profound or too gentle to be overtly displayed. These are not spell books for casting, but quiet repositories of understanding. As your gaze drifts along them, you notice a particular section, tucked away behind a leaning, ornate pedestal. It holds fewer books, perhaps only a dozen, but each one seems to emanate a faint, almost imperceptible warmth. The light from the window catches the fine dust on their covers, making them shimmer gently. It's as if the very presence of these texts, not their words, but their essence, hums with the ancient magic. No dramatic glows, no sudden revelations, just a persistent, tender hum, like the memory of a story whispered generations ago, preserved not on pages, but within the very fabric of existence. You might reach out, not to open a book, but simply to feel the smooth, cool surface of its spine, absorbing the quiet resonance. This magic, you realize, isn't about power or battle. It's about connection, about the interwoven tapestry of all things waiting patiently to be recognized in the deep stillness, in the profound quiet that unfolds around you now, inviting you to simply be the whisper of that connection, the invisible threads that bind each stone to the soil, each star to the sky, settles into the quiet space around you. It's not a magic of grand gestures or booming spells, but of the gentle hum beneath all things, a language understood not through words, but through patience. Soft, distant hoot of an owl, imagine a hidden alcove, deep within a forgotten part of an ancient library. Not the bustling halls you might recall, but a place undisturbed for centuries, where the air itself seems to hold memories, and dust motes dance in the softest light. A single, tall, arched window, almost hidden by trailing ivy, lets in a pale, silvery moonlight. It illuminates a heavy, wooden lectern, scarred by time, upon which lies an unfurled scroll. Its parchment is brittle with age, covered not in common script, but in a delicate, flowing pattern of lines and symbols that seem to weave into each other like the very currents of time and energy. A subtle, almost imperceptible glow emanating from their depth. This is not a map, nor a spell, but perhaps an echo, a visual representation of that intricate tapestry of life and energy. The ancient magic in this quiet corner reveals itself not as power, but as profound understanding, a deep resonance with the world itself. It speaks of balance, of the unseen energies that flow between all living things, a wisdom waiting to be simply observed, acknowledged in the tranquil stillness of the night. You sense that its true nature is not about force, but about a gentle, harmonious flow that pervades everything. A silent symphony playing through the ages. The silent symphony of ancient magic hums softly, not in grand pronouncements, but in the subtle energies that whisper through the very stones of age-old structures. You find yourself drifting deeper now, through hushed corridors, where the air grows cool and still, carrying the scent of ancient dust and forgotten spells. The path leads you away from the more familiar student areas, guiding you toward a section of the castle rarely visited, a place where time seems to slow, almost pooling in the shadows. Here, within a small, forgotten alcove, bathed in the soft, diffused light filtering through a high, narrow window, stands a single, unadorned stone plinth. Upon it rests an object of profound simplicity, a smooth, gray river stone, not unlike any other, yet it emanates a faint, almost imperceptible warmth. This stone is not enchanted in the way a spell might be cast, but feels imbued with the quiet wisdom of ages, a gentle capacitor for that harmonious flow. As you draw closer, the warmth from the stone seems to spread, a tranquil, comforting presence that settles around you. It's as if the very essence of ancient magic, the untold stories, the unspoken truths are held within its unassuming form. There are no dramatic flares or sudden surges of power, only a deep, abiding peace, a steady pulse that connects you to something vast and eternal. This is a facet of the magic that seeks no display, only understanding, a quiet whisper in the grand tapestry of existence. The path you find yourself on now is not one marked on any common map of the castle, but rather a journey guided by that faint, steady hum you've come to recognize. It's a quiet invitation from the very stone and air around you. You move through hushed, ancient corridors where tapestries seem to hold their breath and portraits gaze with knowing, ancient eyes, yet offer no sound. The air grows stiller, carrying the gentle scent of old parchment and dormant power, a fragrance unique to places where profound secrets have long rested. This subtle guidance leads you toward a discreet, unadorned archway, almost missed in the shadowed depths of an unused wing. Beyond it lies not a grand hall, but a compact, circular chamber. Its walls are crafted from dark, seamless stone, smooth to the touch, and inscribed with faint, intricate lines that appear to trace the natural flow of energy. There are no bright torches here, only a soft, internal luminescence that seems to emanate from the very stone itself, casting long, gentle shadows across the floor. In the quiet heart of this sanctuary, a single, time-worn pedestal stands, cradling a large, unbound tome. Its pages, thick and aged to a soft yellow, lie open to a diagram of intertwining streams of light, reminiscent of the subtle energy you felt. These luminous streams are not static. They subtly shift and undulate, almost breathing with a slow, deliberate rhythm. This is not a book meant to be read with the eyes alone, but to be felt, to be understood through the deep, resonant pulse of the magic that flows through its very essence. It is here, in this quiet, forgotten space, that another facet of the ancient magic begins to reveal itself, not through a clamor, but through a deeply felt vibration that echoes within the very fabric of existence. That deep vibration, almost imperceptible at first, now seems to resonate from the very stones around you. It isn't a sound that reaches your ears in the usual way, but a quiet hum felt deep within, a warmth spreading through the cool air of this forgotten chamber. This is the essence of what remains unspoken about the ancient magic. Not the spells cast with a flourish, nor the visible sparks of power, but the silent, foundational current that binds the world. As you simply exist within its gentle field, you might notice the subtle ways it interacts with its surroundings. Perhaps the dust motes dancing in the faint light begin to swirl with an unseen grace, or the intricate carvings on an ancient stone tablet seem to glow with an inner luminescence, only visible from the corner of your eye. This isn't a display of power, but a quiet conversation between the magic and the very fabric of existence It permeates. It reminds us that magic isn't just an action, but a presence, a living breath woven into the oldest places. The air itself feels different, lighter, yet imbued with an ancient weight, a serene wisdom that has witnessed countless ages unfold. This quiet hum, this subtle glow, reveals that the ancient magic is not merely a tool to be wielded, but a silent partner in the world's creation, eternally present, waiting to be felt by those who pause long enough to truly listen with more than just their ears. It is a promise of interconnectedness, a soft whisper that everything, even the most forgotten stone, holds a trace of this magnificent underlying force. This soft whisper, this promise of interconnectedness, doesn't always manifest in grand, overt displays. Often, it rests in the quietest corners, patiently waiting to be felt. It is a soft whisper that everything, even the most forgotten stone, holds a trace of this magnificent underlying force. Imagine now moving through hushed stone corridors, their surfaces smoothed by centuries of gentle touch, leading to a small, unassuming chamber tucked away deep within ancient foundations. This isn't a grand hall or a bustling classroom, but a haven for forgotten lore, a place where time itself seems to slow, preserving secrets. The air here is still, carrying the faint, comforting scent of aged parchment and dry earth, a testament to deep, quiet history. Dust motes dance lazily in the single shaft of moonlight filtering through a high, narrow window, illuminating a collection of ancient, leather-bound books stacked neatly on a dark wooden table. These aren't the spell books one might casually browse. Their titles, if they ever had them, have long faded into obscurity. They are quiet sentinels, holding within their brittle pages whispers of methods and understandings that predate even the most ancient of known magic. The very timber of the shelves, dark and worn, seems to hum with a faint, almost imperceptible resonance. Perhaps, among these unassuming volumes, nestled between two particularly thick tomes, you notice a small, weathered stone tablet. It's not carved with complex runes or symbols of immense power, but etched with simple, elegant lines that seem to trace the very currents of the earth. It doesn't glow or hum, but its surface, cool and smooth to the touch, holds a profound stillness. This tablet isn't about casting, but about communion, a subtle diagram of how the ancient magic flows, unseen, through the very fabric of existence, connecting all things in its silent, powerful embrace. A key not to power, but to understanding, waiting patiently in the soft moonlight. The understanding, much like the soft moonlight from which it emerged, doesn't demand attention, but rather invites quiet observation. It leads you now gently away from the clamor of grand halls and into a secluded chamber tucked deep within ancient, forgotten pathways. This isn't a vault of dazzling power, but a quiet sanctuary of profound knowledge, The air here feels still and profound, carrying the faint, comforting scent of old parchment and cool, ancient stone. Around you, the chamber walls are not adorned with dramatic tapestries or gleaming trophies, but with simple, weathered stone, etched faintly with patterns that seem to hum with a silent, resonant frequency. These aren't spells to cast, but rather intricate diagrams of connection, illustrating the deep, subtle flow of energies that bind the world together. On a central, unpolished stone table, worn smooth by countless years, rests a single, opened book. Its pages are not filled with dense texts, but with intricate constellations of tiny, almost imperceptible points of light, forming pathways that mirror the invisible currents of the ancient magic itself. This is where the unspoken truths reside, not in loud declarations or forceful displays, but in the quiet relationships between things. The soft light filtering in from a high, narrow opening, perhaps a forgotten skylight, touches these ancient markings, making them shimmer with a faint, internal glow, like distant stars reflecting in a perfectly still pool. Each point, each line, a tiny, silent whisper of how the ancient magic threads itself through the smallest moments, the quietest corners of existence. You feel a deep, settling calm, a gentle revelation that the greatest secrets are often the softest whispers, always present, waiting to be quietly observed. A soft, almost imperceptible shift in the air signals a gentle transition. The subtle energy you sensed before now leads you deeper, into a space untouched by hurried hands or the clamor of everyday life. Imagine a chamber carved from ancient, dark stone, its surfaces worn smooth by eons, not by friction, but by the slow, patient breath of time itself. The air here is cool, yet not cold, carrying the faint, earthy scent of deep rock and forgotten lore. There are no grand tapestries or ornate carvings here, only the honest, unadorned truth of the stone. Yet, upon one wall, a faint luminescence begins to emerge. It isn't a bright, magical glow from a spell, but an inner light, as if the very bedrock holds a memory of something profound. Intricate patterns, not of runes or symbols readily understood, but flowing lines that interweave and separate with elegant simplicity, appear to pulse softly within the stone. These are the silent whispers made visible, the structural essence of the ancient magic, not as a power to be wielded, but as a fundamental truth of existence. It is the language that predates words, the rhythm that underlies all creation, a silent song etched into the very fabric of the world. You notice how these patterns seem to shift and reform with an almost organic grace, like a deep-sea current or the slow migration of stars. This chamber feels like a heart, a quiet nexus where the deeper understandings reside, far removed from any bustling classroom or dueling ground. It's simply asterisk is asterisk, and in its presence, A deeper calm settles over everything, a sense of belonging to something vast and profoundly ancient. This isn't a place to learn spells, but to simply absorb the quiet, foundational nature of a magic that has always been and always will be woven into the fabric of the universe. The soft light from the stone patterns casts gentle shadows that dance along the ancient walls, inviting your gaze to wander, to trace the path of these silent truths. Each line, each curve, speaks of equilibrium, of connection, of a power so fundamental it requires no grand display, only quiet acknowledgement. You are simply present, observing, allowing the profound stillness to envelop you, a gentle revelation that the greatest secrets are often the softest whispers, always present, waiting to be quietly observed. The profound stillness lingers, a silent invitation to perceive what lies just beyond the obvious. You remain simply present, as the soft whispers seem to emanate not from a single source, but from the very air around you, a gentle revelation that the greatest secrets are often the softest whispers, always present, waiting to be quietly observed. As your senses attune to this quiet resonance, the ancient chamber around you begins to reveal more of its subtle story. The smooth, cool stone walls, once seemingly inert, now hold a faint, almost imperceptible warmth. Running a hand gently along a section, you notice tiny, intricate etchings, barely deeper than the surface. They are not runes or symbols from any known magical alphabet. Rather, they seem to be delicate pathways, like miniature rivers of dormant energy, flowing in patterns that hint at a forgotten understanding. These aren't the dramatic, visible displays of ancient magic, but its foundational currents, the subtle streams that run beneath the surface of the world. In the soft, diffused light filtering from an unseen source high above, these delicate patterns occasionally catch a glint, suggesting a deep, slumbering power. It's as if the chamber itself is a living scroll, slowly unfolding its truth to those patient enough to listen and observe the quiet details. A little further along, nestled in a gentle alcove, rests a low, circular stone basin, unadorned and seemingly empty. Yet, the air just above its surface shimmers with a peculiar clarity, a silent hum felt more in the bones than heard with the ears. It suggests a reservoir of power, not unleashed, but simply asterisk their asterisk, a quiet promise of what the ancient magic truly is, an intrinsic, fundamental force, woven into the very fabric of existence. The subtle currents continue to flow around you, inviting a deeper, calmer understanding of this ancient, silent presence as you allow your awareness to rest within these gentle currents. A faint, almost imperceptible hum begins to resonate. It's not a sound heard with your ears, but felt within the quiet stillness of your being. A deep, comforting vibration that echoes through the ancient stone beneath your feet. This soft resonance seems to guide your gaze, not towards anything tangible or demanding of attention, but towards the subtle interplay of light and shadow on the time-worn walls that enclose this space. Here, in the soft, ambient luminescence, faint, glowing patterns slowly begin to emerge. They are not carvings or painted symbols, but rather shimmering outlines, as if the magic itself has etched its silent language onto the very fabric of this hallowed ground. These patterns are intricate in their simplicity, flowing with the unhurried grace of a calm river. They shift and reform with a languid, dreamlike rhythm, never quite settling, always in gentle, quiet motion. Each luminous trail seems to connect to another, forming a silent, complex tapestry of light. They speak of the deep, hidden truths that Hogwarts Legacy only whispers about, the silent, profound story of a magic that predates all wizarding history, reaching back to the very dawn of this world. You observe these ethereal, luminous patterns, feeling a quiet reverence for their serene, endless dance. The ancient magic reveals itself not through grand, explosive gestures, but through these whispered visions of light, a profound secret shared only with the quiet, patient observer. It is a language written in pure energy, inviting you to simply witness its calm, enduring presence. It is a language written in pure energy, inviting you to simply witness its calm, enduring presence. Imagine standing in a silent, forgotten alcove, deep within the ancient foundations of a place like Hogwarts. Not a place found on any map, nor a room marked by students, but a space that hums with the residual whispers of this ancient magic. Here, the air itself feels different, thick, with an almost imperceptible glow, like starlight filtered through centuries of quiet stone. You notice intricate, faded glyphs etched into the very rock, not symbols of power, but elegant patterns of flow, describing connections and balance. These aren't meant to be read with an academic eye, but felt with an intuitive understanding, a gentle resonance deep within. The light in this hidden space isn't from a torch or a window. It emanates softly from the patterns themselves, pulsing with a slow, rhythmic breath. It's a subtle luminescence that brings no harsh shadows, only deepening the quiet reverence of the chamber. Perhaps a faint, almost musical hum accompanies this light, a sound so low it's more vibration than noise, felt in the soles of your feet rather than heard by your ears. It speaks of the earth's deep currents, of the sky's unseen paths, all woven together in a tapestry of pure, fundamental magic. This isn't the kind of magic that shouts or demands attention. It's simply asterisk is asterisk. It patiently waits for quiet observation, for a moment of stillness where its true nature can unfurl. In its presence, you might feel a profound sense of belonging, a quiet understanding that goes beyond words. The faint light dances on dust motes, caught in the timeless currents, each particle a tiny, fleeting witness to the grandeur of this enduring, unspoken secret. It is a profound, gentle truth, awaiting only your peaceful attention. The luminescent motes, those tiny, fleeting witnesses, continue their slow, ethereal dance. They drift not aimlessly, but with a quiet, almost imperceptible current deeper into the ancient space. Here, the very air hums with a resonance that is less a sound and more a deep, internal vibration, a whisper of ages past. This is not the vibrant, overt magic of a spell cast, but the deep, foundational energy that predates even the oldest incantations. It is the silent language of creation, folded into the fabric of time. Follow the soft glow of these motes as they gather, coalescing like distant constellations. They lead to an alcove, carved from living rock, smooth and cool to the touch. Upon its surface, no grand carvings or intricate runes are visible, only the subtle undulations of naturally occurring patterns, worn smooth by eons. Yet, within this simplicity, there is an immense power. The motes here are brighter, more concentrated, swirling around a central, almost invisible point of origin. Perhaps it is not an object that generates this magic, but the very space itself, a nexus where the ley lines of the world gently converge, allowing the ancient magic to well up from the earth's quiet heart. The light it casts is soft, a tranquil silver blue, illuminating dust motes dancing in the undisturbed air. It carries no heat, only a profound sense of peace, a feeling of being connected to something vast and eternal. In this quiet sanctuary, the untold aspects of ancient magic are not shouted, but felt. They are the subtle shifts in the air, the gentle warmth that permeates the ancient stone, the pervasive sense of belonging that settles over everything. No grand battles or dramatic revelations, just the quiet, persistent presence of a fundamental truth, awaiting only your peaceful attention. And as you rest, this subtle energy surrounds you, a silent, ancient lullaby. This subtle energy, a gentle hum against the quiet, now guides you deeper. Imagine a hidden antechamber, not grand or imposing, but carved from the very rock beneath Hogwarts, its surfaces smoothed by centuries of forgotten hands. Here, the air is still and cool, carrying the faint scent of stone and something else, something timeless, like dried herbs and distant starlight. Soft, low hum along one curved wall. You perceive a series of carefully placed, unlit sconces, their metal tarnished, but still hinting at intricate, ancient craftsmanship. In the center of the chamber, a circular indentation in the floor holds not water, but a faintly glowing, shimmering mist. This mist pulses with a soft, warm light, like the gentle breathing of something immensely old and profoundly peaceful. It is the very essence of the ancient magic, not as a power to be wielded, but as a quiet, living presence. The mist reflects the muted light from above, creating shifting patterns on the high, vaulted ceiling. There are no dramatic runes or elaborate symbols. Just the raw, unadorned rock, testament to an age when magic was perhaps understood more instinctively, less through written word or complex spellwork. It is a place of pure, resonant energy, a chamber where the quiet truths of the wizarding world settle into a comforting stillness. You notice a single, undisturbed alcove. Within it rests an open, unbound scroll, its parchment thick and aged, yet surprisingly supple. It contains no script, no drawings, only a faint, almost imperceptible shimmer across its surface, as if capturing the very light of the ancient mist. This scroll seems to be a vessel for understanding, not a source of instruction, quietly absorbing and reflecting the deeper currents of the world. It waits, silently, for peaceful contemplation, for the slow, natural awakening of knowledge within. This silent understanding begins not with deciphering complex runes or spells, but with an almost imperceptible shift in the air, a gentle thrumming beneath the very stones of the ancient place. It is as if the chamber itself breathes, a slow, deep inhalation and exhalation of energy that has slumbered for ages. You might notice a faint, pearlescent glow emanating from within the very fabric of the walls, a soft luminescence that outlines forgotten symbols, not carved but woven into the ancient stone. These are not symbols to be read, but felt, their forms suggesting interconnectedness, a silent tapestry of time and wisdom. The ancient magic doesn't shout its presence. It whispers through the quietest spaces, revealing itself to those who are truly still. Perhaps, as you settle deeper into this tranquil space, you perceive a subtle warmth, not from a hearth, but from the very core of this unseen power. It's a comforting warmth, like the lingering heat of a sun-warmed stone after a long day, or the residual glow of embers in a forgotten fireplace. This warmth permeates the air, inviting a sense of deep peace, a feeling of being enfolded in something immeasurably old and profoundly gentle. The energy flows, not as a torrent, but as a slow, steady current, making its way through the forgotten channels of the world. It bypasses the need for grand gestures or spoken incantations. Instead, it responds to the quiet intention, the unburdened mind, and the peaceful heart. It is the magic of simply being, of harmonious existence, a natural law unfolding without effort. And in this gentle unfolding, the true nature of the ancient magic begins to reveal itself, not as power wielded, but as a wisdom embraced in this quiet revelation, where the ancient magic whispers of deep connection. We find ourselves drawn to a place untouched by time, far from the bustling classrooms and grand halls. Imagine a hidden alcove, deep within forgotten corridors of an ancient structure, perhaps a part of the castle itself, yet rarely seen by any but the most curious souls. The air here is remarkably still, carrying the subtle, comforting scent of old parchment and cool, damp stone, subtle, distant chime, very soft dust motes dance lazily, almost suspended in the faint slivers of moonlight that filter through a high, narrow window, illuminating intricate carvings on the stone walls. These are not spellwork, no flashy displays of powerful magic, but delicate etchings that speak of balance and flow symbols of ley lines, of ancient planetary alignments, of the very pulse of the earth and the quiet breath of the stars. A small, circular table of polished dark wood stands in the center of this hushed space, bearing a single, smooth obsidian sphere. It doesn't glow, doesn't hum with overt energy, but seems to absorb all light, reflecting only a profound, silent depth. This sphere, perhaps, is not an instrument for wielding power, but a focal point for understanding, a quiet mirror to the universe's oldest, most gentle secrets. To gaze upon it is to feel a vast, calm expanse, a sense of belonging to something far greater than any individual spell or incantation. It's a connection to the very fabric of existence, a gentle reminder that true magic is woven into the world itself, not forced upon it. Here, in this hushed sanctuary, the ancient magic reveals itself as the quiet, underlying current of creation, a timeless lullaby of the cosmos, inviting you to simply listen and be. The timeless lullaby of the cosmos, the gentle current of creation, now envelops you completely. It feels like a soft, ancient embrace, a quiet hum that resonates deep within your very being. Here, surrounded by the true essence of ancient magic, you understand it not as a force to be wielded, but as the fundamental piece that underpins all things. Imagine the subtle, shimmering patterns of this energy, not bright or dazzling, but a soft, internal glow like phosphorescence deep beneath calm waters. It casts no shadows, only a pervasive, comforting light that soothes every corner of your mind. Your thoughts, once like leaves caught in a gentle breeze, now settle, finding their quiet anchor in this profound stillness. This is the magic that whispers secrets to the stars and cradles nascent worlds. It holds the memories of all that has ever been and the promise of all that will be, yet it asks nothing of you but to simply exist within its tranquil presence. There is no need to understand, only to feel asterisk. As the quiet deepens and the soft, almost imperceptible currents of this ancient magic flow through you, feel yourself becoming one with its serene rhythm. The soft glow within your mind begins to dim, not fading into darkness, but transforming into the gentle quiet of approaching sleep. Let go of every lingering thought, every small curiosity about spells or ancient texts. They are safe, awaiting another day. For now, there is only this profound calm, this deep, ancient peace. Allow the final, soft murmurs of this cosmic lullaby to guide you into a peaceful slumber. The ancient magic watches over you, silent and eternal. Rest now. your journey through the quiet wonders of this world can continue in your dreams.